ಶ್ರೀಲಂಕಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಬಿಕ್ಕಟ್ಟು ತೀವ್ರಗೊಂಡಿದೆ. ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಾಗಿದ್ದ ಗೊಟಬಯ ರಾಜಪಕ್ಸ ದೇಶವನ್ನೇ ತೊರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ರಾನಿಲ್ ವಿಕ್ರಮ್ ಸಿಂಘೆ ನೂತನ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ದೇಶ ಹಲವು ಸವಾಲುಗಳನ್ನು ಎದುರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಶ್ರೀಲಂಕಾದ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಗತಿ, ಮುಂದಿನ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಎದುರಿಸಬೇಕಾದ ಸವಾಲುಗಳ ಕುರಿತು ರಾಜತಾಂತ್ರಿಕ ತಜ್ಞ ವೇಣು ರಾಜಮಣಿ ವಿಶ್ಲೇಷಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
The biggest crisis ever in the island paradise, both the trade deficit and budget deficit. The perfect combination for a disaster. What's next for Sri Lanka?
Well, huge challenges await Sri Lanka right now. First and foremost, what they need to do is to establish a government. Right now, there is a vacuum. They need political stability. Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe himself has already announced that he will be in the fray. So he is the candidate of the ruling party, and if he is elected by the parliament, we might still see the protests continuing. So we have to wait and watch how the political situation will evolve. And from there, whoever comes to power will have to pick up the negotiations with the IMF and try and reach an agreement. And the IMF with the international community will have to come in and bail out Sri Lanka
Can
from
we
the
expect
crisis.
drastic policy changes from the new government?
You know, the IMF would be very clear. The IMF is a team of professionals and they are the ultimate crisis managers in the world economy. The IMF is very different from World Bank. World Bank supports countries achieve long-term development. IMF is created to deal with crises like this. Sri Lanka itself, since 1965, has gone to IMF 13 times. So this is not the first time they are going to the IMF. So the IMF are a bunch of professionals. They will come in, they will say, this is the crisis, this much money we will bring to handle the immediate situation. But these are the steps that you need to take to achieve stability. And as you take those steps, little by little, we will keep releasing the money.
Have any option other than IMF?
At this point, I don't see any other option other than IMF. Some people thought China will come in with huge amounts of money and rescue them, but that has not happened. India is the only country which has given assistance to them in the last 1 year. We have given them almost $3.8 billion of assistance. So India has given whatever immediate assistance it can, but the problems are too big for India to handle by itself. And China so far has shown no enthusiasm to come forward as independently. What China has said is, we will come with the rest of the international community and the IMF or other international financial institutions. So IMF is really the only solution right now available to the Sri Lankan government.
India may not be in the Lankan shoes, but there are some common symptoms. Which countries may go in the Sri Lankan way?
It is difficult to predict which country will go in the Sri Lankan way.
Especially in South Asia.
Yeah, but what has happened is both COVID and the war in Ukraine has hugely disturbed the international economy and is creating ripples and repercussions all over. In our neighborhood, Pakistan is a major crisis. Afghanistan under Taliban is under sanctions, and it's very difficult to do anything there. And if terrorism once again grows in Afghanistan and Pakistan, we have major concerns as a neighboring country. Similarly, Myanmar is under military dictatorship and again under international sanctions, struggling to get back onto its feet. And while Bhutan has always been relatively stable and prosperous, it's a tiny country, but Nepal has also witnessed huge amounts of political instability. Bangladesh has been a close friend. Our relations with Bangladesh are the best ever under Sheikh Hasina, but soon there will be elections in Bangladesh. And what government it brings and whether there is a clear majority, all we will have to wait and see. India is self-sufficient in food. We have been exporting food grains. We have been providing food grains to the others, but many of our neighbors import food grains. And food grain prices again have gone sky high. All commodity prices have gone up. So this impacts people. Even with regard to India, some people have argued that there is a silent fiscal crisis. People now talk about a global recession in the aftermath of the war in Ukraine and COVID. And the US has raised interest rates. And when the US raises interest rates, money which was in emerging market economies all flow back into the US. And the US dollar strengthens.
So what's happening here?
That's our rupee has been sinking and money has been flowing out of the Indian stock markets. And for us also, while GST revenues have increased, overall our expenditure has also increased. So matching revenue to expenditure It's always a difficult task for any finance minister and any government. We are much better off than most other countries because we have a big foreign currency chest. We have over the years accumulated foreign currency for an emergency. So India needs to be very careful. We don't need to fear a crisis like Sri Lanka, but we need to manage our economy much better and very carefully.
Such a great leader will emerge from Sri Lanka in near future. Can we expect that?
Well, once again, great leader is too much of an expectation, but a leader who brings stability and conducts negotiations with the IMF and implements the reforms that they suggest is the need of the hour.
ಇದು ಏಷ್ಯಾನೆಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತಿ.
ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಏಷ್ಯಾನೆಟ್ ಸುವರ್ಣ ನ್ಯೂಸ್.